When we look for something in particular, we are turning our eyes away from others. Can we approach thoughts, feelings, incidents, the poetry of sense, and the greatest words ever spoken in the history of mankind without looking for something? What will this focusless exploration lead to? Let's find out.
अनगढ़िया देवा अनगढ़िया देवा कौन करे थारी सेवा अनगढ़िया देवा कौन करे थारी सेवा गढ़े देव को सब कोई पूजे गढ़े देव को सब कोई पूछे नित ही लावे सेवा गढ़े देव को सब कोई पूजे नित ही लावे सेवा अनगढ़िया देवा कौन करे थारी सेवा पूर्ण ब्रह्म अखंडित स्वामी पूर्ण ब्रह्म अखंडित स्वामी ताको न लागे भेवा अनगढ़िया देवा कौन करे थारी सेवा अनगढ़िया देवा कौन करे थारी सेवा.
Namaskar and welcome to Looking for Nothing with Mandar. Today we are going to talk about a topic as old as man's search, and the topic is Sagun and Nirgun. There's a lot written about Sagun Bhakti, importance of Sagun Bhakti. There is a lot said and written about whole aspect of Nirgun. There is a fight between the two often, and there are always, we come across people, somebody would say Sagun is more lively, more embedded in our life, and Nirgun is like, very dry and dead. And then again, there are opinions where they would say, Sagun is required for a weak mind or a soul that is not evolved, and Nirgun is like, way ahead and way advanced than what Sagun is. And I think this has percolated even in music, like many times you will see people talking about Nirguni bhajans being superior than Sagun bhajans, and all the aspects of it. We have Tulsidas saying ki, Sagun is way better than Nirgun, and all of that is there. How do we make sense out of it? And today, this bhajan of Kabir that I sang, Anagadiya Deva Kaun Kare Thari Seva, I'm going to take that bhajan as an anchor and inquire about Sagun and Nirgun. Now, one thing to look at is that both Sagun sadhana or Nirgun sadhana, they are like boats in water. The idea is you put your boat in the water and you let it go with the flow. Neither your bhakti is that flow nor your sadhana is that flow. It can be just a way to be in touch with that flow. And when you have that initial touch, you have to let it go. You have to surrender to the flow. And it's very common to see that most of the times we strengthen our flow against the flow of the river. So even with bhaktas, we see that they become very arrogant at times. And with yogis also we see that they become very arrogant, on the path. And the whole idea is you take that boat in the water and you surrender it to the flow of the water. And if one is able to do that, if that happens, it doesn't matter which boat you are in. It could be boat of Sagun, it could be boat of Nirgun. But every everywhere we will find many examples where we try to strengthen our boat, we try to strengthen our propellers, your boat is smaller than mine boat is, and all of that happens, which defeats the entire purpose. And I think that is the crucial point, that is the thing to remember, that it can bhakti, generally we associate sagun with bhakti and nirgun with either knowledge or yoga. And the point is that your sadhana should not overpower that flow. It should not prevent you from getting in contact with that flow. Now that being said, I just said, that we associate sagun with bhakti, and we associate nirgun with either gaining knowledge, knowing things, or with any yogic practice, like as Kabir says, like Ida, Pingala, Sushumna, Kundalini, and all those aspects of it. One thing to remember is that these are not watertight compartments. And that is where Kabir comes as a very beautiful example. So Kabir showed that you can also be a Bhakta of Nirgun. It's not imperative that you need a Sagun form to be a Bhakta. And in many, like Kabir says, Ram Niranjan Nyarare Anjan Sakala Pasarare. So Ram is Niranjan, but Kabir is surrendering to that Niranjan Ram, for instance. Or, there is this beautiful bhajan of Sant Yari Sahab in which he says, Piya Nirgun Nirakar. So he's saying that my beloved is Nirgun and Nirakar. So now he is taking the whole aspect of love, prem and bhakti, and having it for formless. On the other hand, we can see someone like J. Krishnamurti, who didn't believe in any god with form, who said that it's just flow of life that you are in, and what you can do is be aware of it, be one with it, and you can get rid of your conditioning, your dogmas, and all of that. Now, it didn't make J. Krishnamurti a very dry person. Actually, he worked so much with kids, so much with children. He set up schools, he talked to children. I see a very beautiful picture of Krishnamurti in one of my books where he's sitting in middle of all the children and listening to a nice concert. Many times a bhakta who is said to be a very lively person won't do it. His bhakti will isolate him from that state of being one, love, and all of that. But I think the bigger point here, and the bigger point that Kabir raises in this bhajan, Anagadiya Deva Kaun Kare Thari Seva, he's talking about a pitfall on the path of bhakti. He's saying that it's very easy to mistake fear for bhakti and bhakti for fear. And that's why he says, Anagadiya Deva Kaun Kare Thari Seva, गढ़े देव को सब कोई पूछे नित ही लावे सेवा पूर्ण ब्रह्म अखंडित स्वामी ताको न कोई भेवा. So he's saying, look, so miraculous it is, like you are the God beyond form in everything. You are the godliness even in that form, even in that idol. But if you don't take that form, no one is afraid of you. No one worships you, no one would bring you any prasad, no one would do your puja. Look what has happened to you. And the important point is, Purana Brahma Akhandita Swami Taku na lage bheva. He's saying that no one will be afraid of you if you don't take form. And I think Kabir is here making a very profound comment on our psyche. Like in many of his books, Osho would always say, that, see, India is a funny country. You cannot spit on the flag of the country, but all the time you're spitting on the country itself. So whenever I spit anywhere, in my lane, on someone's house, here, there, in the lobby, I'm spitting on my country only. That's fine. But if you spit on that flag, then it becomes an offense. Then it becomes punishable. And Kabir is actually saying the same thing. He's saying, oh formless God, the moment you take form, everyone will have to worship you, will be afraid of you, scared of you. But if you're formless, no one cares for you. And that's what we do in our life, everywhere. We are not following traffic rules if there is no traffic police? The traffic police is the manifestation of that fear and that rule. We are afraid the moment we put a number to our blood sugar level, it's like 200. The moment it gets a form, a number, we start taking it seriously. And Kabir is saying, because of this, most of the bhakti that I see around me is nothing but fear. Scared. People are scared, afraid, want certain things, and that's why they worship. If you take out that fear of death, that fear of poverty, that fear of uncertainty, and so many things, the fear of not having a child, he's saying, then will there be bhakti in our lives? And what he's actually probing us into is, go beyond that fear. Don't take your fear for bhakti. Bhakti is way beyond that. Bhakti is much more beautiful, much more profound than that. The only thing is, if it's true bhakti, it will also not be bound by a form. It will also not be limited by a form. It will necessarily be beyond that form. And I think that's a very good marker to look at our bhakti. I remember this incident when we have had this Ram Mandir ceremony. Almost every classical vocalist became a Ram Bhakt. Everyone composed on Ram, everyone sang Ram Bhajan, everyone in their concerts, they did their audios, videos, YouTube reels. Now they don't sing any Ram Bhajan in any of their concerts. Now they won't say, I am a Bhakta of Ram, so I need to conclude my concert with a Ram Bhajan, or I need to begin my concert with a Ram Bhajan. Many times, our Bhakti is also very opportunistic. We see an opportunity. We say, yes, this is the time, let me sing about Ram. That will make me famous. Some politician will come, listen, he will say, okay, I will take you to Ram Mandir, we'll do your concert there. And I think that is what is the value of people like Kabir. They always ask this very interesting questions. He's asking this question, ki, if Lord is not in any form, would you be scared of him? And then if not, are you a bhakta or are you a scared person?